So watching Newsday, as Nigeria approaches the 2027 elections, experts are proposing the introduction of artificial intelligence as a tool to enhance electoral integrity. They argue that AI can detect voting pattern anomalies, authenticate voters through facial recognition, and flag irregularities that human observers might miss, building on INEC's existing BVAS technology. However, technology is not a magic solution. Nigeria's poor power supply, weak internet connectivity, and limited digital literacy create significant barriers to implementation. The 2023 BVAS malfunctions demonstrated how infrastructure gaps can undermine even well-intentioned reforms. There is also a wide consensus that real-time result transmission could revolutionize Nigerian elections by eliminating the notorious journey of results period when physical documents travel through collation centers, creating opportunities for manipulation. Citizens could verify that their polling unit results matched official tallies. Party agents could photograph result sheets for comparison, and large-scale fraud become significantly harder when digital evidence was already public. Can AI adoption curb election rigging in Nigeria? Is the real-time transmission of election results from polling units a real game changer? An AI consultant, Dr. Martina Ononiwu, joins us now to provide answers to these questions and more. It's good to have you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. So, you've heard the preamble, as it were. So, AI and Nigeria electoral system, what are the prospects in delivering transparent results, you think?
Okay, this is a very good question. And I will start by saying that a lot of times, many people think that AI in electoral processes has to do with just voting. Yeah. But with AI, it's more about accountability, it's for verification. And if we put this into use properly, yes, AI could, to a very reasonable extent, help out, in the electoral processes.
I'm glad you brought in the issue of accountability and verification, which is one of the things the BVN was introduced to tackle. And you'd recall, many Nigerians still remember the technical failures that happened in 2023 elections when we introduced the BVAS. What lessons do you think we can learn from that before introducing a more advanced, technology like AI?
Okay, so there are different stages with using AI, and the truth of the matter is, as much as we are advocating for AI in electoral processes, many people are not really ready for AI. To be honest with you, let's use ChatGPT as an example. The average person thinks they're using ChatGPT, but I promise you, 99% of people aren't even using ChatGPT the way that it should be used. So in answering your question, I will say that I would ask that we, go slowly with it. We need to do a lot of trainings first. We need to understand what is AI, how is it used for, learning, for reasoning, what are the kinds of AIs that are used and how is it deployed, where does it have its strength in the electoral processes, and how can the people who will be manning it, because with AI, having AI is not the problem. Like we say, AI will take your job. No, it is the people who use AI, are they able to use it, efficiently and effectively? That's what we'll be looking at.
So on real-time polling unit results, do you think this is a real, game changer? And what are the risks in this kind of scenario, especially in this era of misinformation and hacking possibilities, you think?
So AI can, do a lot of prediction. It can help with location, demographics, and all of those. But to be very honest, we cannot in Nigeria at the moment do like a real time, collation of these results. And I say this because, as we know, let me give you an example. In places like maybe even in Abuja, like Katampe, it is very, modern, but there's still like light issues there, network going off and on. So the truth is, we cannot do a real-time, collation of these things, but we can use it in different areas where for maybe putting of registrations and the voters' cards, doing one or two things, having, the chat bots and all of the other things. So I believe that a hybrid situation is more better to introduce slowly but surely. And understanding how AI works is a gradual thing. With AI and the tools, it's not just having the tools, but also having the process and the people who man the process, understanding how to really use it. That's where the effectiveness actually comes with using AI.
Real time is one big clause that created a lot of controversy when passing the electoral bill by the National Assembly. That clause was missing because, of course, some of the issues you just raised. But looking at the fact that Nigeria still struggles with poor electricity, weak internet connections, do you think that AI can really work with all of these challenges?
To be honest with you, these challenges are not peculiar to Nigeria because we still have these issues even in the diaspora, even in the US, in France, the other day in France, we were at a center where we were having, like a ballot kind of thing. And for some reason, the computers were not working. And this is a very working society where everything, there is 24 hours light. Sometimes it could be the manufacturing problems of the computers themselves. So a company might have 500 computers delivered to them, and 20 of them are not working. And they're from the same company. So there is that fact that it could be there. So AI is good, it could work, but it needs time. We cannot at the moment have 100% of AI. Even those of us that are using it as experts still find out that, for example, when AI was created, they created for it to not be able to do certain things. But right now, as experts, we're now realizing that people are now boycotting the instructions that have been given to AI, and they're understanding how to, prompt it to do something else in the way that it will fit them.
Which brings me to the next question. AI realistically is an evolving technology, as it were. It's constantly learning about things, even without human input, as it were, in this regard. So in this kind of technology, realistically, do you think it can be deployed to our own version of electoral process? And to a large extent, with all of this coming from this background, can we actually, you've already highlighted some of the shortcomings, but can we actually, with enthusiasm, apply it here?
Yes, we can. We can apply it, as I said before, but to certain areas. So in areas where we want, like for the voters registration, we can apply it. We can apply it like, excuse me, like the chatbots, having maybe during the electoral processes, when people want to find out information, when is this going to happen? What did INEC say? And all of those kinds of things. Yes, AI could be deployed for these things, for creating portals, but generally for the collation and the results in real time, I kind of feel that it will take us 2 to 5 years to be able to really fully deploy AI into our electoral processes. Yeah.
Do you think that real-time election transmission or result transmission can really deter rigging or maybe curb rigging of ballot boxes? Do you think that what we need, or do you see it from a bigger political issue and will?
Okay, so to be honest, personally, I do feel that it could, to a large extent, but for me, it's more of the efficiency of doing that. So we used it in 2023, for instance, and we still claim that it didn't work. We still claim that it was rigged. So effectiveness is you understanding how the process works. So my question will be, the people who will be using it, do they know how to use it?
Involvement of men, of the politicians.
Exactly. We do have the involvement of politicians, but AI to a certain extent can actually, verify to see what is happening. It can look at the demographic. It can also, compare and contrast. So, for example, ghost voters, it could see when did somebody go there, at odd hours to go and put a vote and all of these things. But as I said, it would take us 2 to 5 years to be able to fully deploy it into our electoral processes.
All right, finally, if you observe, some political parties are, embarking on e-registration, as it were. So, in this kind of scenario, how can AI be deployed to ensure that, to a large extent, the number of voters that we have, in comparison to what INEC also has, AI can at least have some kind of collation probability that this is the amount that we have, and you're not putting people, you're not subtracting people, as it were, just to favor other political parties. Your thoughts on that?
So for me, I would say that the onus will be on INEC to have an independent portal that is able to do this, and that way we're able to verify, hoping that they will not be using third party or maybe international bodies. If they do this effectively, we'll be able to see these things in real time, because they will be the one to garbage in the instructions, train the chatbots to understand what is needed. So, for example, they could say, okay, we need this and this and this and this. After maybe 20 people or 500,000 people, assuming that they know the populations in each of the region, don't enter more. They could do these instructions, in their portal. And once that number is reached, they're not able to go past that number. The AI would, alert, INEC to say, don't go past or go past. So the onus will be on INEC to make sure that their inner framework is wired to suit, the electoral conversations that they want for us to see as a people.
And it's still taking us around 5 years.
No, between 2 to 5 years.
I know you're optimistic about this, but from all you've said, what I can hear is that we really need people who have the integrity, the political will to make this work. And so we hope that we get to that in 2 or 5 years, as you've said. Dr. Martina Ononiwu is an AI consultant, and she's been speaking to us on how to adopt AI to curb election rigging.